In this video, we'll explore settings in Google+. Now, if we come back over to scroll over home, at the bottom is the word settings. Now, when you click on this, the primary settings it's going to get you to are the Google+ settings. You can see how it's highlighted in red. The rest of these settings are related to your overall Google account. So if there is some general Google account setting you want to change, you can do it by doing this as well, but the primary one it's connecting you to is Google+. Now when you come into Google+, the settings, you can see you have options of knowing when people are talking about you by using notifications, as well as who can comment on posts that you've made. You can choose the ability of who can actually do Hangouts, the ability to actually do photo or video conferencing with you. You can be told how to notify you about any of your notifications you want to know. Email is the primary method, but you can also add a phone and it should text you information as well. Now, with your subscriptions, you can change these. They don't need to be clicked, but it's going to give you updates about activity, friend suggestions, and even people outside the circles that may be relevant or of interest to you. That could be useful if you're thinking about how to improve your personal learning community or your professional learning community. Next, it goes through all the notifications that you could be emailed about. So you have to choose what do you want to be notified about automatically and what is not as a big deal to you. So everything is checked to start off with. So if any of these things occur in your Google+ account, that means that you're going to be notified via email. So just read through those and see if there's any that you are not so worried about, and if so, uncheck it. With the Google+ here, it says Google+ 1. What they're doing here, and it's automatically turned off, is that if you turn that on, it will look at what you've put +1s by and put advertisement related to those subjects in non-Google sites. I recommend keeping it off. Now, the Google+ pages, it's just going to be putting pluses followed by page's name in your circles. I don't think that's an important thing to worry with. The apps and activities, if you want to see what all your account is attached to, you can always click Manage Apps and Activities. As you can see, there's no apps connected to my Google+ account. If I want to see what's going on with Google, I can see what types of sources Google's using, and if I click on Log, it'll have an activity log of what's happening with my Google services. Let me get back to settings here real quick. So if you're ever concerned about how other companies or other apps may be using your Google account or your Google+ account, you can always click on the apps and activities. With your circles, you can customize some more information about your circles here, about who sees especially any of the data you want automatically when you don't click on specific circles in your posts. And typically it's going to be friends, families, and acquaintances. You can change that. Maybe you just want friends and family. As you create more circles, those options will come up as well. So those are things maybe you want to come back to, this notion of customizing your circles after you've created all the circles you may want to use. Accessibility is trying to make your Google+ site easier for people with ADA compliance equipment to be able to easier read your Google+ screen. When you get to photos, the photos, depending on how much you do with photography, it may not be a big a deal, especially with a teacher account, but it is important to think about what you want located on them. Do you want a geographic location? Probably not. Allow viewers to download the photos? I don't know if that's necessarily something you want, unless you're using those photos for something that's educational related with other teachers, but I probably would check that one off for now. Find my face and prompt people I know to tag me? I really probably don't want that either. Full-size photos, probably don't need that unless you're sharing some specific photo that needs a higher quality. But one of the nice things to recognize here is that you have 15 gigabytes of storage in your Google+ account. So if you need to share files, photos, whatever, it can be stored in your Google+ account. So that's a great feature. You have the ability to have any images you put up here to be auto-enhanced, auto-awesome. They just make fancier images of whatever they want to with it. I don't think that one's a big deal one way or the other, but you can uncheck it if you like. This next one about people whose tags are automatically approved, you can change whether anybody can tag you without your approval. So right now it's only friends and family. If you don't want that to be an option for anyone, you can just uncheck those boxes. Now, I'm going to go down here, a couple more things down at the bottom here. With my profile. Now, one of the things is that people can still see your profile. That's the way it's set up. And as you build your profile in each of those different components, you have the option of choosing who can see what at what time. Some things you may keep public, like your name, where you work, but if you want bio information, photos, all those things, you can change that in your profile, or you can change your profile information here. The thing is, if you click and uncheck this, what's removed is the ability for people to see just about anything without becoming a friend of yours, and that can and cannot be an issue depending on what you want to do. I typically keep it clicked because the things I'm wanting is the ability to share it with other people in my circle is much easier, and I can choose along the way as I'm doing everything whether or not I want this to be public or private as I add it, versus making a blanket statement here, which can make things harder later. The next thing down is hashtags. Now, what they're doing is, as you create a post, Google will sometimes read through that post, or the programming will read through it and create an automatic hashtag to go with it that will relate to other topics that may interest people. If this concerns you and you don't want that ability, you can just turn off the hashtags. You can always leave it on and then see what happens if it's something that helps you or you feel like it's becoming a little bit intrusive. I would not share location. I don't think that's important that people know your exact location. That would be in your profile. And then if for some reason you get to a point where you no longer are going to use Google+, say you're leaving the school system, you can come here and disable Google+, and it'll remove everything, but it does take a couple days. And that's some of the basics that are in the Google+ settings. Again, if you want to check your general Google settings, you can click Account Security, your general Google profile, and other products you may be connected to.